art, comedy, pop culture, and much more. ACPN.
Hey everybody out there, Johnny J here. Got a cool little package in the mail. Time to open it up and find out what it is. Got this really neat package from Incredible Play. They're making squishy toys for candy brands now, such as Oreos. And here also Swedish Fish. And last but not least, Sour Patch Kids. Nice. My camera's upside down, so I'm not... No, not thumbs down. Thumbs up. There we go. It's cool stuff. They're all the same brand. I didn't know that. But let's start with the Oreo. Open this guy up. Very cool packaging, by the way. And doesn't smell like an Oreo, but there it is. It definitely looks like an Oreo, and it's a squishable Oreo? No, we don't puncture it. Put that to the side. Open up our Swedish Fish. See how this goes. And there, actually looks like a Swedish Fish. Let's open that up. And it's stretchy. This one's cooler for that reason alone, because if you've ever pulled apart candy as a kid, it's the same idea. It's also scented like a Swedish Fish, so that's pretty awesome. Alright, let's put that to the side. And last but not least, our Sour Patch Kid. Let's get him out of there. Hopefully he's not naughty. He'll be a good Sour Patch Kid. This guy's also scented, and they both smell like the original candies, which is pretty awesome. This guy's stretchy. Also feels bumpy like the sour crystals you'd find on the candy. There, he's jumping on the fish and the Oreo. So now that we've played around and unboxed our squishies, let's hear more about these from one of the guys in charge. How did this all come about? Because it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's not every day that you find companies that are making weird products like us. We're a toy company. We've been doing this for a long time. And squishy toys are kind of our jam. It's sort of what we're known for. And tactile, fidgety type toys like this are kind of having a moment. They've been really, really popular, especially since the pandemic, when everybody seemed to need something to fidget with for a variety of reasons. And so we've been making these for a long time, and we were sitting around one day. We're always trying to innovate and come up with new ideas, and we were trying to think. Since there are a lot of squishy toys on the market, we were trying to think, well, what can we do that would be different? The first idea that we had was to scent the toys, since there's not a lot of that, and that seemed kind of interesting. And we started down that path, thinking that through, and that naturally led to the idea of like, oh, okay, well, we could make food squishies, and what would be the best food squishies? Like, well, candy would be pretty cool. That's a cool idea. Boy, I wonder if there's a candy company out there who would want to do something like this. And lo and behold, that the owners of the brands for Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, and Oreo, which is the same company, one company owns all three brands, thought that this crazy, insane idea was kind of cool. And so we started, really, when we first pitched the idea, we didn't actually know whether we could do it and make something cool that would work. And, in the case of the Sour Patch Kids, actually smell like a Sour Patch Kid. But it worked out, and we're really thrilled with where we got to with that.
Scented is something different, and it's something, I'm playing with I have a Aqua Teen Meat Wad squish that I was gifted a while ago.
By the way, and such a perfect product for that character.
And that actually brings me to my next question, because I don't know what's actually in here, but what kind of materials are in
that is an interesting question, and it's like, how much time do you have? Because people don't really think about it. You think, oh, this is just a silly little squishy toy, but for those of us who actually make these things, these are intense questions. We go through a lot of different squishes to end up with the thing that we end up with. So in the actually for all three, it's different squishy materials. In the case of the Sour Patch Kids, it's like a gel. In the case of the Swedish fish, it's a gummier substance that makes it just a little more mushy and a little more Swedish fish-like. I know that sounds ridiculous. Yeah.
No, it really does.
Yeah. And then with the Oreo, it's actually a cream-based squish so that it feels a little more like the icing of the Oreo. So, the answer to your question is quite interesting because this is really how you make a satisfying squishy toy with the material that goes inside. Right. There's a bunch of different ways that you can do it. And for lack of a better explanation, when we're selecting these things, it's like, what is the squish that feels most like the thing that we're making? And it's not, we don't want it to feel exactly the same way, but we want your brain to go like, when you're squishing the Swedish fish, like, oh, this is Swedish fishy. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing that I do for a living, but it's, we are trying to match it up and make the thing like, not only does it smell like a Swedish fish, it kind of squishes like a Swedish fish. And that's cool too. You know what I mean?
No, it does. And it doesn't sound ridiculous. It's making me think of when you had those, I watch all kinds of animated shows, but Bob's Burgers did a Halloween episode where they went to a haunted house and the eyeballs, it's really grapes, but they feel like eyeballs.
Yes.
Spaghetti instead of what are you feeling?
It's like, it's not tricking your brain, but sort of it's part of the satisfaction of the like, oh my gosh, this kind of, it's like it's squishing like an Oreo kind of, but an Oreo doesn't squish, so that makes no sense, but your brain kind of goes there, you know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah. So about the material, because obviously, if a younger audience is, they're obviously, I'm gonna imagine they're safe for kids.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the standards on these things, the amount of testing that we have to do, even just for regulations, to make sure the product is safe, is extensive, which as well it should be. One would hope that it is. And then beyond that, there's just practical things you can do to make these, like the exterior shell is something called TPR, which is the short form for thermoplastic rubber, which is a very cool substance that gives a really satisfying feeling. But the thickness of the TPR is another thing to make it less likely to puncture. That's not even from a safety standpoint. That's even more just from you don't want the stuff inside to spill all over kind of standpoint. So again, not something you'd think about every day when you just grab one of these little pickup items and you're just sort of squishing away at it. But the quality of the item comes into play a lot too. The quality of the manufacturing, the thickness of the product, all of these things. But yeah, we test these things up, down, left, right, just to make sure that everything is safe.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying puncture, but obviously if someone took like a pair of scissors to them, then it's still gonna.
It's hard for us to guard against that. Really, it's more like it's more like if you're just squishing it, the thing should not explode in your hand. You definitely don't want that.
But that's fair. I'm just thinking for the people who put out these videos now of, hey, let's tie this Swedish fish to a hose and make it expand.
Listen, they're gonna make great videos. You know what I mean? Like that's nothing we can do about that. But we do want to make sure it's safer.
It's safer for kids.
Yeah, 100%.
No, well, that's fair. So it is just Oreo, Swedish fish, and Sour Patch for now.
Well, funny you should say that. That's our latest release. We've already done a couple of other items too. We released squishy scented Jelly Belly jelly beans last year, which are pretty cool. We had some squishy Peeps. Peeps at Easter being an absolute monster, dominating every grocery store you've ever seen. And so we have squishy Peeps chicks and bunnies. And then these are our latest releases.
That was going to be my next question, because I know Mondelez does Cadbury too. Maybe do something for Easter.
We got some exciting things planned. This is sort of, it's funny. We think this idea of this squishy, tactile candy / food related sort of frequently scented items is is kind of cool, and it's been very successful so far. So we, without saying too much, we have a lot of fun stuff in the hopper that we're working on. We think, to your point, there's a lot of things when you start to think down this road, you're like, oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. So we're working on it.
That's awesome. It's going to be available in certain stores, FYE, Spirit. Now that Spirit's open.
Yeah, everywhere.
What, like a month ago they opened?
Yeah, I know. I
was talking to someone earlier.
It's like you walk outside and you throw a rock and you're very likely to hit a Spirit Halloween at this time of year. It's pretty funny. They're a fantastic partner. It's interesting because this product is so unique. This toy is so cool. Like, we're in a ton of different toy stores with it. So your local toy stores is a great place to find it. The Learning Express toy stores are great supporters of us. But then beyond that, it's the kind of toy that you can, because it is for kids, but it's also like there's a lot of adults, myself included, who are very fidgety people who are just constantly, exactly.
I have like 5 fidget cubes in my drawer that I don't even touch anymore.
So it's kind of for everybody. So you can find it now in all sorts of interesting stores. So you mentioned FYE. They're a great partner of ours. You wouldn't think of it necessarily, but Cracker Barrel. They are the Cracker Barrel. Their gift shops at the front of their restaurant are full of cool, exciting things, and they are a great supporter of us as well. Because it's sort of food related, you find in a lot of grocery stores, like the Meijer grocery stores are going to have this in their stocking stuffer program, and Hallmark gift stores. Like it's the kind of thing that can go great in a lot of different places. So you can find it all over the place, actually.
Yeah, and online, I was going to say, because I'm looking at the Incredible Group website, and it looks like 650 of the Sour Patch Kid have already been sold.
Yeah, that's and counting. We just started too. It's going like crazy. It's it does seem like we've hit a nerve with this thing. We've had a lot of popular products in the past, but this one, especially the Sour Patch Kids, holy cow, people are passionate about their candy, I have to tell you.
I agree. It's these are brands that people resonate to because it's the nostalgic and to your point, it's the sensory, the nostalgia, and the sense, the things that bring you back to what you used to get.
100%.
And they're inedible, so I don't have to worry about
that's true.
Blood sugar spiking.
Yeah, correct. No issue there.
Ryan, is there anything else we should know about?
I think we talked about the main stuff. Again, people don't really think about how they seem like, in some cases, just squishy little things, but we put a lot of thought and passion into it, trying to make them cool and make them as cool as they can be. So appreciate the opportunity just to talk about it.
Thank you for chatting with me. This is awesome, and I look forward to seeing these out and about in the wild.
They are a satisfying squish. They're really fun.
I can't wait. Meatwad's gonna go somewhere else.
Right.
Probably.
You'll have some competition.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.